Hi, welcome to Tiny Teacup Reads. Thank you for being here. So as promised in my last reading wrap-up today, I have a book review for you for my favorite book that I read in the month of May, which is The Lost Story by Meg Shaffer. This book was published last year in 2024 and is about 350 pages long. It was inspired by the Chronicle of Narnia series by C.S. Lewis, which I've always loved, and explores a topic that I've always thought about. What would it actually be like to enter a magic kingdom and to live there as a prince or a knight, and then to have to come back to our own reality? If you're like me and you used to daydream about that a lot, then this is the book for you. The two boys that enter the Magic Kingdom are 15-year-old best friends Jeremy and Rafe, who go missing in a forest for 6 months. When they are finally found, Rafe has no memory of what happened in that time, and Jeremy refuses to say anything and quickly moves away. The book picks up again about 15 years later. Both of the boys are now adults. Rafe is a recluse, and Jeremy makes his living as a missing persons investigator. He has a really uncanny ability to find people that nobody else can, and one day he is approached by a young woman named Emily who wants him to find her missing half-sister. It turns out that Emily's sister, who she has never met, went missing in the same forest that Jeremy and Rafe disappeared in all those years ago, and the two agree to take her back to that location, and they re-enter that magical fantasy realm. I picked up this book for that plot, which sounded really intriguing, and it was very solid, but nothing too mind-blowing. The real reason I loved this book so much was, number one, the writing. It was very engaging, it drew me in right away. It had almost perfect pacing, it never felt too rushed or too slow or too boring, but also the characters and the relationships that they have with each other. I am going to get into some mild spoilers here, so if you don't want to know anything about this book, then stop watching now. I got about a quarter of the way into this book before I started feeling like I was picking up some vibes from Rafe and Jeremy. But I figured, no, I know how these books go. It'll go on and on about how these two guys have this amazing connection and they're the only two people who really understand each other. But ultimately, there will be a shoehorned in heterosexual romantic subplot, probably between Emily and both of the guys, so that there's some love triangle to create some intrigue. But I should have had more faith, because no. Turns out those two boys spent their time in the magical kingdom not just being a prince and a knight, but also having a gay old time in every sense of the word. Except now, Rafe doesn't remember that any of this happened, and is also understandably still very pissed off at Jeremy for refusing to tell him what happened that time they disappeared, and for disappearing and basically just leaving him alone to deal with the fallout. So all of that backstory makes for a very interesting dynamic. And also Emily makes it very clear that she has no interest in having a romantic subplot with anybody, and the two boys basically kind of adopt her as their kind of annoying little sister. This is one of those books where, if you look at it from a purely critical perspective, I would probably have to give it like a 4 stars. But I don't rate books with my head, I rate them with my heart, and that is why I gave this book a 5 stars. It had me invested right from the start. It made me care so much about the characters. It was never boring. I read the whole thing in one day, and once I was finished, I kind of just wanted to pick it up and read it again, which I think is kind of the highest praise a book can get. So I highly recommend this book, and I hope that I see more people talking about it soon. But that is it. That's it for me. That is my review of The Lost Story. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope that I will see you in the next video. Bye!